Hi, this is Debbie, and I'm going to be talking about Diane Arbus and her photograph, "Child with the Toy Grenade." Okay, so she lived from March 15, 1923 to July 26, 1971. She was American and she began as a fashion photographer, but then switched to street photography to experiment with its creative potential. She then shot at a lot of locations in New York, such as Coney Island, Times Square, and Central Park, along with Gary Winogrand and Lee Friedlander. So moving on to her photograph. It was shot in 1962, and the original size was 15.5 by 15 and 1/16 of an inch. It was a gelatin silver print, and during the time that she took the photograph, there was like a lot of political and artistic movements going on, and it was right after World War II ended. The rise of pop art, op art, minimalism, conceptual art, performance art, and feminism art changed the media. And yeah. Okay, so moving on to describing it. Detail. The boy, being the main subject, is standing in what seems to be a park. He's holding a grenade in his hand while the other is cringed like a claw of a monster. Yeah. He's wearing overalls with a buttoned up shirt tucked inside. His left strap is off his shoulder. His face has a weird expression to it. And he seems to be acting like he's capable of being crazy enough to have a real grenade in his possession. The background has a few trees and pavement, and it's all very just gray. There's a few people in the background, but they're really fuzzy, so you can't really point them out. He's like, yeah. Moving on to color. There's no color in this photo, so the shadows and the different shades really stand out. The photo is printed in sepia color. The shadows of the trees give the floor a little more detail than just being a completely gray white pavement. His overalls stand out the most of the frame because of its darker color. Therefore, since his overalls stick out, the first thing you notice is who's wearing them. The boy. They're really dark against like everything else, and then that pops out too. Yeah. Going on to frame. I feel like the photographer had to lower the camera down a bit to capture the boy's whole body, because an average adult would see a child like eye level. He is centered in the frame. He's the only object that stands out aside from the trees directly behind him. So maybe when someone sees the trees, they directly focus to the boy. So it's like, I see the tree, and it's like, oh, the boy's right next to him. He's the main thing I'm supposed to be looking at. The boy is really focused, that's why the background is so blurry. He's like really clear and sharp, and then everything else is really fuzzy and kind of like the background kind of makes me think about like a pictorial picture where it's like fuzzy and not as clear, and then just him like pops up. Yeah. So after doing some research, the significance that I found, interpreted by many people and by Diane Arbus, she caught the boy with an exasperated expression. That's the weird face he's making. She was trying to capture the loneliness in everyone because that's how she felt at the time. She wanted to represent the people who didn't know how to share and connect with other people like herself. She basically put her emotion into this photo like a true artist that expresses their feelings through their works. I mean, that's what an artist does. whether if it's like they use blue to make it known that they're sad, or like red to make it known that they're mad or something. But she made sure that she caught the boy's expression like this, and not him smiling like in her other photos of him. Moving on to my evaluation. At first glance, I thought this photo was trying to portray the struggles of youth with the idea of war, because the way the boy looks mad holding the grenade, and also because this was taken in 1962, which was during the whole peace movement, and a little before Woodstock, and a big event promoting peace and anti-war ideas. But I was completely wrong. Darvis actually had no explanation for why the boy was holding a grenade. I guess she just had that prop and decided to make him hold it. And for his exasperated expression, she just kept taking photos of him, and the boy got really exasperated because he was just like standing there for so long while Arbus was like doing her thing. Supposedly she was circling him to find the right angle, and that's why he was getting like kind of annoyed. So yeah. So this is a quote by her. I believe this like basically sums up like her as a person. And she says, I really believe there are things nobody would see if I didn't photograph them. She was the type of person that believed that there is beauty in weird and odd things. So most of her pieces, most of her photographs are of like really strange and unusual people. And that's what makes her like stand out amongst other photographers. So yeah, that's that. Thank you.